Friends, hi, how are you? I hope everyone is well. Let's dig into what's going on in the market right now. So April 30th today, wherever you listen to this. Let's see, PCE inflation report came out, and it's actually a little stronger than expected, so that kind of shocked a lot. I mean, these inflation reports have been coming out pretty good. Obviously, there was a little bit of bad stuff mixed in there too, so it was a little bit of 50-50 from, bad, good. But the market continued just to have a little bit of sell-off today. Some things. Today, with that too, we were reporting more quarterlies. Some companies did really good on quarterlies. And then tomorrow is probably more than likely, companies that people are more watching. You've got McDonald's, you've got MasterCard, you've got Apple, After Hours, you got Reddit. There's a lot that we will be, Roku. I mean, there's a lot going, Amazon, for God's sakes, reporting quarterly tomorrow. So, I'm excited to see what's going to happen here. I think we're going to be in some interesting waters tomorrow. And let's go right into Palantir. I want to talk about Palantir, okay? So Palantir almost at this point is back at 120. I mean, Palantir is just running, and this is pretty much what I've been gossiping about here for 2-3 weeks now, that Palantir will find these high numbers again, and we're pretty much there. By tomorrow, we could be there. Now today, Palantir, started, wasn't much going on, dropped even to like 109 and some change, barely, pretty much 110, and then started shooting up from right there, almost a $10 walk today. I mean, can you imagine people that bought in at market open and then held this thing till the end of the day today? My God, the profit you just made off that one move in, just a small range of hours right there. I mean, that's crazy. So there's still is probably more. Don't count it out. There's still probably a lot of meat left on the bone here for what's coming with Palantir. So saying that, we're at this crossroads right now. What people are like, what do? I would say most people at this point, wherever you're at, you're either in really good profit range, you're just in profit range. Maybe you bought on the last run here with Palantir, 2 months ago at this point, when Palantir was almost at this $130 position, and then you've been back holding or maybe buying your way down a little bit. So maybe you're back holding just a teeny bit, but you're pretty close to profit zone at this point, at least break even. I would say, more than likely, everyone's going to get out of debt here with Palantir pretty soon. I would not be shocked, and even after hours here, Palantir is pretty much almost at 120. So tomorrow, more than likely, it will find its way to 120, 125. More than likely, it's been there. People are willing to pay for it. I think people will pay 130 very easily, and I think they'll pay 140, especially if we can see a massive quarterly jump here that I think a lot of us are expecting at this point with Palantir. So the last quarter with Palantir was $827 million, okay? $827 million. And we find ourselves in this zone now. Can they get to a place where they break $1 billion, okay? Because, when we saw Q3 of 2024 here, I mean, Palantir released $725 million at that point. Major jump from Q3 to Q4. Okay, now Q1 coming up here next week, to be exact. Obviously, that's Monday. Market opening. Palantir will be releasing quarterlies. So could Palantir just blow all expectation out of the water, kill the bears once again, and we see Palantir run to this, maybe I think more than likely, what we could see here, because Palantir has been such a creature of habit with shocking the system of what's going on here, is that Palantir will more than likely come out with banging quarterlies. They could be over $1 billion, if not just touching a high $900 million range here, especially if they continue to do this 35, 40, 50. Are we going to be in the 50% range of, from every quarterly, on top of what they're doing? it looks to be that way, where we're seeing massive growth come in here, and it's not stopping. I mean, from Q3 to Q4, a Palantir last year, huge difference. Okay, so this one could be even bigger. And here's kind of like the interesting situation that's going. Like even today, Palantir there's still partnerships, there's deals happening, things are still happening. I'm not even talking about them. I've been talking about ones here and there, but they're still going on. Palantir's still getting deals. Palantir just last week locked in that huge NATO deal. The ink still hasn't even dried on the contract at this point. And we haven't even seen that touch quarterlies yet. So Q2, that'll come out here later this year. My God, like Q2 will probably more than likely definitely be in the $1 billion range here with Palantir. But this Q1 that we're about to see here Monday, well, it could just be a telltale sign of, okay, yeah, we're definitely going into $1 billion range here this year. Palantir more than likely is on this road here, this Roman road that is making for itself, that Dan Ives has been talking about. That's why I put Dan Ives on the thumbnail here, because Dan Ives is such a heavy hitting, swinging son of a gun when it comes to Palantir, where he's been saying for a long time now that he does believe that Palantir will be a $1 trillion have a $1 trillion market cap here before we know it. And now you're seeing articles come out talking about Palantir will have a stock split sooner than we think. Palantir is and obviously I don't think it's I don't think anyone's blind to this, but obviously, like I've been saying, Palantir is just in this unbelievable growth cycle, And there is this part of a lot of investors where we go, is this normal? I would say no. I mean, there's definitely companies in history that find themselves on these winning streaks where things are just going very well. But we have seen things like this in the market before where, things are going so good and then, just something terrible happens. But we're not seeing any of that with Palantir. So, like I'm not trying to spread rumors here. Things are going really great with Palantir. Palantir keeps getting deals. And there's still this huge elephant in the room with Palantir that I have to address, is that Palantir is in the White House. Palantir is rubbing shoulders with this administration. You've got Tesla, you've got Elon Musk, and you've got Alex Carr, buddy, working together, doing things. Palantir is still getting defense contracts, other huge contracts. This NATO contract are just locked in. There's a lot just going on to where Palantir is in this very much real cycle of, we could be going into 140 sooner than we think, and we could be going into 150. Who knows? I don't think 140 is crazy at all. I really don't. I think more than likely, even with Palantir, if it doesn't hit $1 billion quarterly, it just comes shy of it. It's still going to do this situation of, it's going to keep going up because the masses are going to buy it. They're going to buy it. What you're seeing now with Palantir, I think a lot of us have been with Palantir for the last year, 2 years maybe, depending on where you're at and, cycles, runs with Palantir. Maybe you started at $7, maybe you started at $20, maybe you got to Palantir here at $40, okay? Maybe $80, okay? Maybe you're new to the party and you're just, I've been hearing about this Palantir stock and I'm very interested in it. There's plenty of people like that right now where they're finally, they're being introduced to Palantir, or they are taking the leap and they're saying, okay, this company is about to hit $1 billion quarterly. I think I want to go and I want to put, a hefty amount of money in this. So this is how Palantir keeps finding itself in these new growth patterns with old investors, newer investors, and new investors, where we're just seeing more and more of the stock be bought up. And this is why it's such a real conversation that probably sooner than we think here into the future, Palantir could easily be talking about a stock split. Palantir could be just at a stupid price because the expectation of what keeps coming with each quarterly. I think this is going to be a very dangerous quarterly. I really do. If Palantir comes out with this quarterly that is even touching, even just by a feather, $1 billion, if not bleeding over $1 billion, we are going to see Palantir just in another run cycle. 100%. That's why I don't think 140 is that big of a deal, to be honest. I really don't. We've seen Palantir knock out hellacious numbers like this before, where it's went from $30, $40 struggle there to going to going to $70, $80 within a 4-week span. So Palantir is just in this cycle where you have these walls where it's not backing down from the price. We saw that at $60, $70. Palantir was not giving up those positions with all the tariff situation, the sell-off in the market here just a moment ago. Palantir is in this position now where, it's well over 100, it's well over 110, over 115, looking for 120. It might find it by tonight, even, who knows. But more than likely, we're going to see this hefty climb in Palantir. It's just too good to pass up. And why I say this is a dangerous quarterly, stay on track here with me. I'm telling myself this here. Palantir is executing this quarterly to where, like I said, if it even resembles touching $1 billion, people are hyped, they're psyched about that. Then what is that going to tell us? That's going to tell us that Q2 is almost guaranteed to really do well because of these newer deals and partnerships, this NATO deal that just got locked in. So all this newer stuff and what's to even come here that we don't even know about, this is all going to compound on Q2. So either way, I think we're going to see the big B here before we know it with Palantir. It's going to be producing $1 billion quarterlies, 1 point something, 2 point something later. I wouldn't bet against it at this point. It's too risky to bet against Palantir. It's been such a fantastic stock to watch and learn about. And, like I said a while ago, is this stuff normal with stocks? I don't know. What is normal in the market? I mean, since I started investing in the stock market around like 2014, 15, I've seen just ridiculous stuff. I mean, the GameStop situation, Trump coming into office first time, watching that crazy market, the Biden market, the Cove market, now we're in this new Trump market, the tariff market, what's normal at this point? What's normal? I mean, just last year we watched these chip stocks, these chip makers, chip developers, just do hellacious numbers. Just crazy revenue. Nvidia hasn't always been a company that's been making 20, 25, $30 billion quarterlies. That's only been happening here for a small time, okay? It was just, stuff started really clicking for them and they came out with a product that everyone wanted. So Palantir here, by no means am I saying that it's going to be making $30 billion a quarterly here. We really do wish we'll be getting that stock split by next week. But what I am saying is that Palantir is finding a rhythm. It's finding customers. Customers are finding them. And if we continue into this cycle this whole year into next year, especially with all of this administration, I think it's a solid play, obviously, right now, a very solid play. And honestly, I think 140 is probably cheap compared to what's coming. I think a lot of people are going to catch the boat here and they're going to do very well. And then there's going to be people that are probably going to say, well, 140 is just too expensive. Yeah, it is too expensive. It's pretty ridiculous, but you have to understand with Palantir, if you haven't caught on to what's going on, you're buying what's coming. You're not buying even the worth of it right now. You're buying what is to be with Palantir. That's essentially what you're doing here, and we've been doing this with Palantir. This isn't anything new. We've been buying the futures of Palantir here, what's to come, and that's exactly what's repeating itself time and time again here with each quarterly. So with Palantir, kind of wrapping up that conversation, I don't Palantir more than likely will continue to run in tomorrow, and then Monday we'll see what it has landed at that point. It's going to be a very interesting play in the next week and to see what Palantir has actually done. It's going to report their quarterlies after hours, so I expect Monday just to be probably a hefty day with it. I suspect that it will run back and forth and be a very good day with volume. This is the quarterly. This is the quarterly that's going to tell us a lot right here. So friends, So just talking about SoFi real fast, I'm going to start talking about some other stocks again too here soon, I promise. But, there's just been so much news, drama, everything here with the ones I'm talking about. So as we know, SoFi had quarterlies yesterday. They came out and, they were good. They were good. They weren't face melting like we all wanted. They were good though. They were really good. I mean, the company's still on a great growth road of growth at this point. And, it could be the other way around. They could be, going dormant. They could be not growing at a fast rate. We could be in that situation, but we're not. So with SoFi right now, I think that SoFi, like SoFi has always been, it is a situation, it is a stock that is going to take patience. The problem, I think one of the main things that I see with SoFi, and I've been preaching this for a while now, and I say it and it sounds simple, but I think sometimes simple is the answer with some of these stocks, these companies. SoFi is a bank stock. It's not an AI stock. It is simply a bank stock, and it is somewhat of a situation that people are not intrigued by. It's not a Palantir. It's not cool, slick, sexy like Palantir. It doesn't have an Alex Karp attached to it. It is simply SoFi is a bank stock when we get down to it, and it's bringing in money steadily. It's doing really good. The thing that excites me here with SoFi is the futures of it, the future stock price, the future movement of the company. And I do believe that SoFi is, it has great technology base to it, attached to it. And with that, we are seeing SoFi attract, the younger generation. They're opening up new accounts, and it's tapping into, millennials too, boomers, everybody. It's getting them, but it is the younger generation that is starting accounts with SoFi 100%. So it is going to be a ride of waiting for, the newer generation to what? Buy houses, cars, loans, credit cards, bigger, better bank accounts. These are things that SoFi is betting on, and so far it's the right bet. It's moving in the right direction. But, SoFi, I do believe 100% is moving well towards $1 billion quarterly. It is moving towards, somewhere in the future we'll probably have a dividend attached to the stock. It is moving in a situation where it will undoubtedly be a $20, $30 stock here in the future. Listen, the one thing that SoFi is doing is it's moving in the right direction. It's executing every quarterly. And what do we know? We know that big Wall Street, they like that. We know that, brokers, they like that. These big firms, they like that. So with that, SoFi will continue to grow. SoFi will continue to be bought up by the average investor and by Wall Street. Slow and steadily. It will be put in the ETFs. I suspect that sooner than later, we could even talk about SoFi going into the S&P 500. It's going to get in a very, very mature stage, okay? But it's going to take time. It's going to take time. SoFi's been good to a lot of people right now. It's a fantastic stock to build a position in with buying and selling. And I do believe that SoFi is going to run up to probably $14, $15, $16 here sooner than later. I've been watching SoFi since this has been a $4, $5 stocks all through the cove, when it was being decimated. Because what I can tell you is that every time SoFi releases quarterlies, it always sells off. It pushes up, people sell the hype, and then it sells down. Now, it sells down to a new level, and then from there, it starts chipping away at higher numbers and building a position. So I would not be surprised to see SoFi kind of sell down a little more and hang around this high $11, $12 range here for a moment and start chipping away at $13, $14, $15, okay? I wouldn't be surprised. And then on a really good market day, we could definitely see it move into a $16, $17 range. That wouldn't shock me once, one bit. It would not shock me one bit. But I will tell you, if you're looking for growth, if you're looking for fast-paced moving stock, it's obviously going to be Palantir, 100%. Palantir has captured just the zeitgeist with investors, 100%. I mean, it has captured their mind, their lust, their want, their desire, their greed, everything. And that's one reason why we're seeing Palantir just grow in unbelievable volume in stock price, shares being ate up. It's just it's heading in such the right direction. Friends, listen, I want to thank all of you. I am very excited about what's coming here. It's going to be a really good day in the market tomorrow. The market could do very well tomorrow because there's a lot of big moving companies tomorrow that are reporting quarterly. So I'm curious to see if Apple's going to do well. I take that back. If Apple does report back quarterly, this could be a telltale sign, and Amazon too. And it could spell fear for tariffs are doing bad. So we'll see what happens here. Friends, like I said, I wish all of you best of luck, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.